Good evening, everyone. Notice is hereby given of the regular meeting of the Board of Education of the Town of Westfield in the County of Union, New Jersey at 7 p.m. on the evening of Tuesday, June 11th, in the boardroom of the Administration Building, 302 Elm Street, Westfield, New Jersey. The purpose of the meeting is to transact the regular business of the board and to transact any other business to come properly before the board. At the conclusion of the public meeting, the board will move to the second floor conference room to conduct a board workshop. This is to advise the general public and to instruct that it be recorded in the minutes that in compliance with Chapter 231 of Public Laws of 1975, entitled the Open Public Meetings Act, the Westfield Board of Education, the Westfield School Board, on Thursday, June 6, 2019, caused to be posted at the office of the Board of Education located at 302 Elm Street, Westfield, New Jersey, and delivered to the Westfield Leader, the Star Ledger, the Westfield Library, Town Clerk of Westfield, Tap into Westfield, and Patch.com. A meeting notice set forth the time, date, and location of this meeting. Dana, may I have a roll call?
Michael Beelan.
Here.
Kent Diamond.
Here.
Brendan Galligan.
Here.
Robert Garrison.
Here.
Brian Morrissey.
Here.
Gretchen Ulig.
Here.
Tara Porto.
Here.
Peggy Oster.
Here.
Amy Root.
Here.
Thank you. Gretchen, would you like to lead us in a
Sure.
flag salute?
I
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm going to move over to the podium for this part of the meeting. If you watch our board meetings, at many of our board meetings, we take the opportunity to celebrate our students and their achievements. And tonight's a very special evening where we have the opportunity to celebrate some of our teachers. So tonight we want to honor 5 educators and 1 support staff member who have been selected for special recognition for the enthusiasm, caring, and dedication they show to our students and staff every day. On behalf of the Board of Education, I am pleased to present each of you with a resolution attesting to your commitment and devotion. When I call your name, please come to the podium. We will begin with the recipients of the Optimist Club Award, which recognizes outstanding intermediate school educators. John Stacy. John, I'd like to read this resolution. The resolution by the Board of Education of Westfield, New Jersey, to John Stacy, Intermediate School Teacher of the Year, 2018-2019. Whereas the Optimist Club of Westfield, a supporter of schools and children in the community for many years, has established an annual award for outstanding teaching in the intermediate schools. And whereas this award is a fitting tribute to the importance of teaching in the intermediate grades and the nobility of the teaching profession. And whereas John Stacy, who began his career in Westfield in 1998 and continues today as a social studies teacher at Edison Intermediate School, has been awarded the 22nd Annual Intermediate School Outstanding Teacher Award for outstanding teaching, interest in children, and continued pursuit of professional growth. And whereas the nominations received on behalf of John Stacy expressed appreciation for his kind and compassionate nature and for consistently demonstrating an extraordinary commitment to the students, colleagues, and the Westfield community. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this Board of Education publicly expresses appreciation to the Optimist Club of Westfield for establishing this award, and that this Board of Education sincerely congratulates John Stacy, representing Edison Intermediate School, for receiving the 2019 Outstanding Teacher Award, a significant honor and a notable accomplishment. And that this resolution be presented to John Stacy on June 11, 2019, and that a copy of this formal resolution becomes a part of the permanent records of the Westfield Board of Education. Thank you. Mr. Bolton, Dr. Bolton, would you like to come up and say a few words?
All right? Yes. I'd like to begin by thanking the Optimist Club of Westfield for providing this recognition to our district's intermediate school teachers. This is an important award that's given to two people who have played a profound role in the lives of our intermediate school students. They value this award, all of our teachers do, so thank you to the Optimist Club. I'd also like to thank Dr. Dolan and our Board of Education for allowing us this time tonight to recognize and celebrate our fantastic intermediate school teachers. Mr. John Stacy has taught at Edison Intermediate School for 20 years. As a teacher of social studies, John strives to ensure that his students are engaged and excited about their work in his class, which is no small task when you consider he's teaching them about the Magna Carta, the Reformation, and the Dark Ages, which is some pretty heavy stuff. This past year, the faculty of Edison Intermediate School has embarked on a professional development journey to develop our understanding of social-emotional learning. We read articles on the critical importance of social-emotional learning in middle schools, but we initially struggled to find great practical examples of teaching strategies to teach these social-emotional learning strategies to our students. That is, until we realized that just like teaching a 5-paragraph essay or an art technique or an algebra equation, one of the best teaching strategies is often using good models. John Stacy has for years been a model of the core competencies of social-emotional learning for his students. He's kind, empathetic, considerate, inclusive, and most of all, humble. As you can see, he's about to fall over. Talk about him right now. Examples of these attributes in action can be witnessed in every pleasant interaction you have with John in the hallway. He's the person who asks, "How are you doing?" and really, genuinely, truly means it. And then when you say, "I'm doing okay," he says, "That boy." But these attributes are most evident on Wednesday mornings when he and a group of roughly 40 students make sandwiches for a homeless shelter every single Wednesday, thousands of sandwiches over the course of the year. They're also on display on Tuesday afternoon when John facilitates the video game club for students who are just looking for a place to play video games in school. And they can be seen when he's serving as the Master of Ceremonies for our Veterans Day Assembly, our Black History Month Assembly, and every student versus teacher basketball and volleyball game. I am proud that Mr. John Stacy is Edison School Teacher of the Year. He's an excellent reflection of our school and so deserves this recognition. Congratulations, John.
Thank you for bearing with me. Good evening and thank you. Thank you, Dr. Dolan, members of the Board of Education. Thank you to the Optimist Club of Westfield. Thank you, Dr. Bolton, our principal, Mrs. Marsh, our assistant principal, and Mrs. Brennan, our department supervisor. To my colleagues at Edison, thank you. I am very fortunate to have the ability to work with the most amazing group of professionals. My colleagues at EIS go above and beyond for their students on a daily basis. This award should easily have gone to any of our school's outstanding teachers. They are truly the most incredible, intelligent, selfless human beings I have ever been around. Can I ask them to stand up? Please, 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 Edison teachers, please stand up. Without them, I would not be here at this podium tonight. They are truly the teachers of the year. This award is theirs more so than it is mine. John Hersey, an American author and journalist, said, "Learning starts with failure. The first failure is the beginning of education." I teach my students not to be afraid of failure, and that failure is an opportunity to learn and grow. I share with them that I've learned more from the failures in my life than from the successes. 27 years ago, when I began on this journey of teaching in my hometown of Elizabeth, I would never have imagined that I would be at this point in my career as I failed my students more than I succeeded. Thankfully, I had an incredible support system of family, friends, and coworkers who helped me to correct my failures so that I could learn and grow as a teacher. And that's when education began to happen. I still believe that as a teacher, I have more things to learn and improve upon. And I look forward to the years ahead with my students, coworkers, and the challenges and the triumphs that we will face together. Thank you to my wife, Donna, for putting up with me, which is not an easy thing. Thank you for being a good sport when I ramble on about history. She is an incredible person, an amazing mother, and my best friend. I love you. To my mother and father, Don and Andrea Stacy, who could not be here tonight, thank you for your love, support, and encouragement, and for instilling in my sister and me the importance of education. And finally, last but not least, thank you to all of our students. I am so proud of the work that they do, both in and out of the classroom. I am proud of them for getting up early in the morning every Wednesday to work on behalf of feeding the homeless right here in Union County. It is refreshing to see such compassion and empathy. I thank them and their families for allowing me the opportunity to be a part of their journey. Thank you for listening. I wish you all peace, health, and happiness.
Mr. Stacy, you have thanked many people, and I want to thank you because what you give to our children every day is immeasurable, as they say, and priceless. So thank you very much. Next, Shannon Dory. That's my mistake. Sharon Dory. Sharon. Was just a quick look. I get nervous too. I don't teach in front of people all day long. So this resolution by the Board of Education of Westfield, New Jersey, to Sharon Dory, Intermediate School Teacher of the Year, 2018-2019. Whereas the Optimist Club of Westfield, a supporter of schools and children in the community, for many years, has established an annual award for outstanding teacher in the intermediate schools. And whereas the award is a fitting tribute to the importance of teaching in intermediate grades and the nobility of the teaching profession. And whereas Sharon Dory, who began her career in Westfield in 2008 and continues today as a school nurse, health educator at Roosevelt Intermediate School, and has been awarded the 22nd Annual Intermediate School Outstanding Teacher Award for outstanding teaching, interest in children, and continued pursuit of professional growth. And whereas the nominations received on behalf of Sharon Dory praise her as a gentle and empathetic nurse who gives her undivided attention to each and every person and is a positive force at Roosevelt School. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this Board of Education publicly expresses appreciation to the Optimist Club of Westfield for establishing this award, and that this Board of Education sincerely congratulates Sharon Dory, representing Roosevelt Intermediate School, for receiving the 2019 Outstanding Teacher Award, a significant honor and a notable accomplishment. And that this resolution be presented to Sharon Dory on June 11, 2019, and that a copy of this formal resolution becomes a part of the permanent records of the Westfield, New Jersey Board of Education. Thank you. And Mrs. Offendus, would you like to say a few words?
Good evening. Thank you to the Board of Education, Dr. Dolan, and the Optimist Club of Westfield for recognizing the outstanding middle school educators in the Westfield Public Schools. As the committee reviewed the applications and the nominations this year, the number of teachers nominating their colleagues really struck me. I think that really shows how much the teaching staff truly appreciates the recognition of their dedication to teaching. And being awarded the Outstanding Intermediate School Teacher Award is truly a coveted honor. It is my privilege to introduce this year's very deserving recipient, Mrs. Sharon Dory. Following a successful career as a critical care nurse, Mrs. Dory began working in the Westfield Public Schools as a substitute nurse. Her respect and dedication for Westfield led her to pursue her school nursing degree, an internship at Roosevelt Intermediate, and ultimately a nursing and health teacher position in our school system. She has spent the last 11 years enhancing the health program and ensuring the health and well-being of our student body. In both the classroom and the health office, Mrs. Dory is a positive, caring educator. She tackles the sometimes challenging topics in the health program with honesty, tact, and openness. She also encourages students' teamwork through organizing our participation in the annual Health Bee. Throughout the years, Mrs. Dory has served on and advised various clubs, including our school leadership team, the Sunshine Club, and the Digital Yearbook Club. She also has mentored many TR Scholar students who have worked to study through projects in the discipline of health. But more than her numerous accomplishments in the classroom and beyond, Mrs. Dory's compassion, empathy, and encouraging attitude enhance the Roosevelt community. Her office is a safe place for many students, and she helps them through a variety of issues, and not just the medical ones. When you see Mrs. Dory, she always has a smile on her face and a positive word for students, parents, and colleagues. Earlier this year, Mrs. Dory invited me into her class. So period one, I walked up the stairs at 8:20 a.m. to a class full of 7th grade students who sang me a good morning song, accompanied by an amazing dance. I think that shows you that Mrs. Dory's classroom is an environment where students feel welcomed and comfortable. She shows them on a daily basis that learning can also be fun. I am grateful for the Optimist Club for their recognition of our wonderful teachers, and it's my pleasure to introduce this year's outstanding teacher, Mrs. Sharon Dory.
Thank you. Wow. All right, you can hear me? Okay, I have a loud voice. Pardon me for reading, but I don't want to forget anything. Leo Buscaglia once said, "Too often we underestimate the power of a touch, a smile, a kind word, a listening ear, an honest compliment, or the smallest act of caring, all of which have the potential to turn a life around." Kill 'em with kindness. These are words spoken by my own mom on a daily basis growing up. It's been a few years now that she and my dad have been gone, but their lessons remain. My mom was 3 when she lost her hearing. That was 1931. So you can imagine the lack of assistance for her disability. Despite her hearing loss, she was determined to find her calling, and eventually, after overcoming numerous challenges, began as a phys ed teacher and continued her education while raising a family of 6, eventually becoming a respected special ed teacher, focusing on the students having the deepest needs. That was her passion, and that is how she modeled life to us and to anyone else she encountered, even the crabby waitress at the cafe we frequented. We sat there for lunch week after week, same crabby waitress. We sat there for lunch. My mom would say, "Sharon, she's just having a hard day. So let's be nice to her, because who knows what's really going on in her life." And so we would find something about her, anything that was honest and true, to compliment her on, even if that meant the way she poured a wonderful cup of coffee. Then we would ask her how her day was going and wait. And eventually, over the course of a few visits, she would crack a smile, and so it goes. I remember us giggling quietly as the crabby waitress began to soften and share what was really going on in her life. This also reminds me of a wonderful conference a few years back that we got to go to because of the generosity of the Westfield Board of Ed, and it was called The Nurtured Heart. I found this approach to be one of the best there is in the classroom, in the health office, and in life. This past week, A few of my students suggested that when I speak to all of you, it would be a good idea to tell you a bit about what health class is all about. I mean, the boy-girl puberty talk is only the beginning of a much more meaningful dialogue. We begin almost every lesson with either a dance or with the health triangle, and weave it in and out of every lesson. So we've got a lot of social emotional learning going on every day. As a health educator, it is vital that we explain how all three sides of the health triangle, social, mental, emotional, and physical health, affect one another and relate to illness, hygiene, disease, relationships, and just, well, life. We talk about making good decisions, not just how, but why. A teen doesn't always make the smartest decisions first. It just doesn't come naturally. I explain that it's not because teens aren't smart, but because part of their brain, the think first before jumping part, or prefrontal cortex, is not fully developed until their 20s. This, in fact, is why we practice scenarios that they will encounter at some point. It's so that they are armed and ready to make the right decisions when they come along. We ask questions like, how do you feel about smoking or vaping, and why? How does it make you feel if you've hurt someone, and why? What age do you think it is okay to start dating or be intimate with someone, and why? And the discussions begin. We talk about how to get us out of situations which are risky, how to set boundaries, and how to clearly and assertively say no. We talk about consent and what that means. We talk about bullying, online and offline. We discuss the impact of social media on their lives. We talk about addiction to drugs and alcohol, the dangers of binge drinking, and what to do if a friend is in trouble. And throughout these sensitive topics, I continue to remind the class that no one is here to judge, just to learn. This conversation is far from over when the students finish our 2 brief, 1 marking period a year of health class. My hope is that these same students seek me out long after the conversation begins, and it usually will, into the safety of our health office, and it's usually in the guise of a headache or a stomach ache. I pray that the bridge we began building in the classroom withstands the storms of everyday life. It is such a thrill when students come back year after year to visit and share their journey, their struggles, and their accomplishments. Receiving this award is an incredible honor, one that I was humbled and very surprised to receive. You see, I work with some of the brightest and most passionate educators out there. So needless to say, there are many people that I want to thank. Along with my inspirational mom, I thank my dad for teaching me to look things up, rather than just giving me the answers to my numerous questions, which he undoubtedly knew. He was like a 70s version of Google. And he is why I absolutely love school and learning. And I give creds to my 5 older siblings scattered across the country who nicknamed me Siren. Because in order to be heard as the youngest, I had to speak out and speak up, which really helps in a classroom of 28 middle schoolers. Thank you to the Optimist Club, who serve our Westfield community. Their motto says it all: friend of youth, bringing out the best in kids. Thank you especially to the Westfield Board of Ed, Dr. Dolan, Barbara Ball, all of the administration. When it comes to you've set a gold standard of care when it comes to educating the whole child. Thank you for maintaining the belief that a registered nurse who is certified in school nursing and health education is a minimum requirement to work in the Westfield schools. Thank you to the administration at Roosevelt. Mrs. Esfendis, thank you so much for your kind words, and Mr. Getman. And to our outstanding guidance counselors, you're out there somewhere, there you are. We work hand in hand. We collaborate with them daily. Thank you to our support staff and to my fellow teacher colleagues. I can't imagine working in a more supportive, caring, joy-filled, fun, cohesive environment. You are my second family, and I am so, so blessed to have all of you in my life as we together shape the next generation of students, or at least try. Thank you to my fellow Westfield school nurses who set their standards high, practice with excellence, while teaching and caring for our district's children in the health offices and in school classrooms every day. All while wearing a smile, having a full bladder, an empty stomach, and probably a cup of coffee. You guys are my heroes. Can you guys stand up? Now that we're all standing up, where are my fellow school nurses? Especially, I want to thank Carol Stavitsky, who leads all of us as school nurses in the district. Thank you, Carol. Love you. I want to especially thank my partner and better half at RIS, Christine D'Souza. She's the one with the camera, she's more than my colleague. She is my sounding board and is a selfless, brilliant, beautiful, compassionate nurse, teacher, and friend. I admire you, Christine, and you make me better every day. Mr. Stu Carey couldn't be here. He sent me a really nice bouquet of flowers, though, today. When he watches, he'll see this. I'll say it. You continue to inspire me even after retirement. I can still hear your calm, clear words of encouragement as I sat in your office, no doubt in tears, explaining why I could not go back into the classroom. I just wasn't a teacher, I said. I've always been a nurse. I don't think I can do this. He calmly reassured me, looked me in the eye, and gently asked me to give it just a little while longer before making the decision. Then he added, I really believe that you can take all of your critical care nursing experience and really impact these kids. Thank you, Stu, for believing in me even when I did not. I want to thank my entire family, many of who are here and some who could not be here, and especially my husband, Steve, for his love and support and for encouraging me to go back to school after 20 plus years of being a critical care nurse. He agreed that there was more to be done and that I could accomplish more in teaching young people how to prevent illness and disease than always taking care of sick patients who had not had a teacher. Thank you, Stephen. I love you. Thank you to my girls, Angela, Kelly, and Emily, for being my cheerleaders along the way, for making me laugh, for helping me stay in the know, for reminding me that middle schoolers what they can and cannot relate to, and for decoding their slang for me. You've kept me feeling years younger than I really am, and I love you for it. Now, back to my mom. I do believe that she may have pioneered a type of educational technique called social emotional learning. It gives me such joy knowing that I'm in a school district that does more than teach children. It takes the health triangle into every classroom and nurtures every ounce of the child and helps them reach their individual full attention. I'd like to close by reciting a nurse's prayer that a nurse way back shared with me when I began in ICU. And it means even more to me now as a nurse and educator of teenagers. Let me dedicate my life today in the care of those that come my way. Let me touch each one with healing hands and a gentle art for which I stand. And then tonight, when day is done, let me rest in peace if I've helped just one. Thank you so much for recognizing a school nurse health educator as being a vital part of our Westfield district and community. I humbly accept this in honor of all my fellow school nurses. Thank you.
First, I'd like to apologize for misstating your name. Second, I'd also like to thank you for the special teaching and care that you bring to Roosevelt School. listening to what you teach in the class. As a mother of 5, you make my life easier, or have made my life easier in the past. And secondly, I mean, knowing what a nurse brings to a school, because whether or not your kids are in elementary school, high school, middle school, they need that place where they can go find a smile, a hug, just say it's okay, you can make it through the day. And I know all the nurses in our school provide that to our students, so thank you very much for all that you do. At this time, I'd like to move on to the teachers at the high school. 3 teachers and 1 custodian were honored by the high school community with awards of excellence. When I call your name, please come to the podium. Amy Burgoyne Black. Resolution by the Board of Education of Westfield, New Jersey, to Amy Burgoyne Black. Whereas the Distinguished Teacher of the Year Award has been established to annually recognize a teacher who, through both excellence in teaching and a demonstrated commitment to the intellectual pursuits beyond the classroom, serves as a model and an inspiration to the high school community to strive towards excellence. And whereas the award is presented to Amy Burgoyne Black, a dedicated English teacher at Westfield High School, who is praised as an empathetic and positive educator who truly impacts the lives of her students for the better, working hard to help them succeed. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this Board of Education publicly congratulate Amy Burgoyne Black for receiving the 2019 Distinguished Teacher of the Year Award, a significant honor and a notable accomplishment, and that this resolution be presented to Amy Burgoyne Black on June 11, 2019, and that a copy of this formal resolution becomes a part of the permanent records of the Westfield, New Jersey Board of Education. Congratulations.
It's hard for me to believe, but I started teaching here in September of 2000, which seems so long ago now. And at the time, I didn't know much about the Westfield community or Westfield High School. Unlike many of my colleagues, I am not from here, so I had to do a little research. And of course, I went to my interviews, and then I logged onto my my dial-up AOL connection. I still have the AOL account, but I've upgraded to wireless. And after the page slowly loaded, what I learned is that that this was really a place that I could make my my home. What I figured out was that this is a place where academic freedom was a bedrock principle, where rigor, creativity, innovation, and integrity were valued, and where students were nurtured and also challenged to become critical and creative thinkers and productive members of their local and global communities. I feel like I would be remiss, and I know this is a positive evening, if I didn't mention that though the high school has weathered some difficult times in the 19 years since I've been teaching here, this year has been among the most challenging. The tragedy of Dr. Nelson's passing left a hole in our community and a heaviness in our hearts. But I want to say that I'm grateful to the members of the WHS faculty and staff who pulled together to maintain the integrity of our programs and to continue to do our good work. I especially wanted to thank the administrative team at the high school, especially Jim DeSarno, who stepped up to fill some pretty impressive shoes, even as he was grieving the loss of a colleague, and to Melanie Estevez, whose remarkable efficiency, composure, and professionalism really helped to hold the staff together during a time of crisis. I also want to thank my personal support system, the members of the English department and of the humanities department, especially my co-teachers, Michelle Stumbers and Daniel Faribault, who is here tonight, I think, with some minions from the Scouts. And I wanted to express my gratitude, of course, to the Board of Education, to the Westfield Foundation and the Class of '57 Fund, who generously offered this award, and to Ava Feldman, who is an exceptional junior in my first period English 3 honors class, who was kind enough to take time out of her very full schedule to write me a letter of nomination, for which I was pleased and very, very touched. And of course, thank you all to the board and to the central office who helped make our work possible. Thanks.
Our next honoree is an English Project 79 teacher, Erin McKeon. Resolution by the Board of Education of Westfield, New Jersey to Erin McKeon. Whereas the Westfield High School Above and Beyond Award has been established to annually recognize a teacher or counselor who has truly made a difference in the life of a struggling child, either socially, emotionally, or academically. And whereas this award is presented to Erin McKeon, a dedicated English and Project 79 teacher at Westfield High School, who is lauded for her determination to set up her students for success while taking a noteworthy personal interest in each individual's emotional well-being. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this Board of Education publicly congratulate Erin McKeon for receiving the 2019 Westfield High School Above and Beyond Award, a significant honor and a notable accomplishment, and that this resolution be presented to Erin McKeon on June 11, 2019, and that a copy of this formal resolution becomes part of the permanent records of the Westfield, New Jersey Board of Education. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I'm very honored to receive this award. I would first like to thank Dr. Dolan and the board members for inviting us here and for recognizing the teachers who have been nominated for these awards. I would like to thank the family that continues to acknowledge and honor the staff of Westfield High School through the Above and Beyond Award. There are so many incredible teachers that continue to positively impact their students, and I would especially like to thank the students that took the time to nominate me for this award. The reason I teach, and I think the reason everyone being recognized in this room teaches as well, is because of the students, whether it be in the health offices, the social studies classrooms, the special education classrooms, the English classrooms. We show up each day for these kids. We care that the kids feel supported by the adults they work with every day, and that the time they spend with us is a safe space where they can think creatively, consider different perspectives, and feel supported in the things that come easily, and also the things that don't come so easily. Watching my students thrive academically and achieve personal growth will always be the most rewarding part of my career. I look forward to many more successful years in Westfield High School. And again, thank you so very much for this award.
I would be lost without that piece of paper. For this award, I'd like to ask Gretchen Ulick to come up and present it.
I arm wrestled to be. No, I'm just kidding. I'm very grateful, and Peggy very generously allowed me to present the next award to an individual who had to deal with William Oleg at 7 a.m. every morning this year. So I'd like to welcome up special education teacher Lara Rinaldi. So before I read the proclamation, I'm just going to take advantage of the opportunity that I have on behalf of my family and my baby boy to welcome you, or to thank you. You're the one that he's going to remember when he's 30, when he's 40, when he's raising his own kids. As his nomination letter said, you changed his life for the better. And I recognize that that's not just the impact that it had on my family, but families throughout the district for years that you've been here. So it is my honor and my pleasure to present you with this resolution from the Board of Education. Don't, because to Lara Rinaldi. Whereas the Westfield High School PTSO Outstanding Teacher of the Year Award has been established to annually recognize a teacher who is encouraging and motivating, is a good role model, and shows respect for coworkers, students, and parents. And whereas this award is presented to Lara Rinaldi, a dedicated and caring special education teacher at Westfield High School, who is applauded for her commitment to student success and inventive ways to help her students learn. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this Board of Education publicly congratulates Lara Rinaldi for receiving the 2019 PTSO Outstanding Teacher of the Year Award, a significant honor and a notable accomplishment, and that this resolution be presented to Lara Rinaldi on June 11th, 2019, and that a copy of this formal resolution becomes a part of the permanent records of the Westfield, New Jersey Board of Education. Congratulations.
I'm shaking now. So I'm very flattered, and I appreciate those who nominated me for this award. I've wanted to be a teacher since the 2nd grade, so to be recognized for a job I've wanted to do for my entire life is truly an honor. Thank you to my family, my husband Al, my 2 boys, who are waiting back there. um, who continue to encourage me every single day. My colleagues at Westfield High School, who when I walk in the building and I'm like, oh, they're like, it's okay, you can do it. They really just encourage me to be the best teacher I can be. Thank you to the Board of Education, Dr. Dolan, and the PTSO for this award. But as I said before to you, I can only be an outstanding teacher because I have outstanding students. And for those of you who know me know I truly, truly adore them. So thank you to all of them for being the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Gretchen. And last but not least, I'd like to call up our custodian, Mario Arana. Resolution by the Board of Education of Westfield, New Jersey, to Mario Arana. Whereas the Robert and Linda Foose Memorial Award has been established to annually recognize a member of the Westfield High School staff for excellence in education, and whereas this award, whose namesakes were former principal and Westfield High School, were a former principal of Westfield High School and a former teacher, have been conferred upon Mario Arana. And where Mario Arana, a custodian at Westfield High School, is a dedicated member of the support staff and is commended by those who nominated him for his positive attitude, friendly demeanor, and strong work ethic. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this Board of Education publicly congratulates Mario Arana for receiving the 2019 Robert and Linda Foose Memorial Award, a significant honor and a notable accomplishment, and that this resolution be presented to Mario Arana on June 11, 2019, and that a copy of this formal resolution becomes a part of the permanent records of the Westfield, New Jersey Board of Education. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mario Arana. I am the custodian in the high school. I am the responsibility to take care of your kids in the cafeteria A, B, to make sure they enjoy the lunch, you know. I would like to say thank you to my boss, Mr. Warner. He is a leader for me, because without him, I don't know what we're doing over there. Thank you to Mr. Sarno to give me the opportunity to be there with them. And thank you all of you. Thank you very much. God bless you. Thank you.
At this time, I'd like to bring to the podium Jim DeSarno. Would you like to say a couple words?
I'd like to start by thanking Dr. Dolan and the board for honoring our teachers and all the teachers in the intermediate and high school tonight. What makes working at Westfield High School so special is days like this. I got to start the day at a Rotary luncheon where they gave 18 of our finest students scholarships, and I end the night here where we're honoring 4 of our finest staff members. Reading the letters the students wrote on behalf of these 4 educators was both moving and inspiring. Every one of our honorees cares so very dearly for their students, their school community, and the people they work with day in and day out. They all take on tremendous workloads. Amy teaches two levels of our humanities classes. She also has an honors English class. Erin works with our Project 79 students as well as 2 English classes. Lara co-teaches with 3 different teachers. She also teaches a biology class as well as a chemistry class. Mario's in the cafeteria every day for 5 lunches. That's approximately 1,600 students every day. And both he and the students seem to always have a smile when they're talking to each other and at the end of the periods when they're cleaning up. However, all of them find time to help a student in need or a staff member that needs assistance. What is nice to see through this process is how thoughtful our students are when they recognize how fantastic their teachers are, but also recognize important staff members. This is the third year in a row when a custodian was honored with an award here tonight. To quote Dr. Nelson, thank you, thank you, thank you for what you do to bring and what you bring to Westfield High School every day. Our students, family, and the community benefits from your tireless work and the caring that you give our students every day. Thank you very much.
Could all of the high school honorees just come up and take a picture with Jim?
You want to come over here, Marion?
It's like the paparazzi.
The high school is truly a special place, and each of the teachers, administrators, and staff make it the special place that it is. And sometimes I know the kids don't always appreciate all the different parts of it, but as they grow up a little bit, they all come back and they say, Westfield High School is a special place, and each of you make it a special place. So thank you very much. Next, I'd like to turn the meeting over to our business administrator, Dana Sullivan, who has an award to present as well. Dana?
Good evening. Last week, I was honored to attend a special ceremony in Atlantic City to receive a 2019 Distinguished Service Award as one of 4 school business administrators in the state to be recognized by the New Jersey Association of School Business Officials. Tonight, I am equally honored and so happy to be able to present a $1,000 scholarship from New Jersey Association of School Business Officials to Westfield High School senior Adam Holtman. Adam will attend the University of Wisconsin this fall, where he plans to study business. He is a journalist for the student newspaper, The High's Eye, as well as a peer leader for the Transition Program, a year-long mentoring program for freshmen. Adam has been described as an excellent student, a community servant, and a young man with integrity and a love for learning. Congratulations, Adam. I welcome.
Thank you, Dana. It was a true honor to the Westfield community that you received that award, and thank you for. So now we're going to take a short break to congratulate all the honorees. There's some refreshments out in the hallway provided by the PTSO of the high school, Edison and Roosevelt. So go enjoy. Shake hands, give hugs. Let's move on to regular announcements. Rob, do you have any?
I do. I have one announcement. Each year, the American Association of Teachers of French organizes a nationwide French exam called Le Grand Concours. I don't speak French. This year, over 75,000 elementary and secondary students participated in the contest nationally. A total of 45 students took part at Westfield High School, 36 of them earning accolades for their achievement in the form of 1 platinum medal, 6 gold medals, 13 silver medals, 9 bronze medals, and 7 honorable mentions. Bravo to all the students who participated and their teachers, Marie Belliveau, Mary Lou Hoffman, and Rachel Janis.
Thank you. Tara?
Yes. The Student Government Association at Edison Intermediate School recently donated $4,000 to Children's Specialized Hospital of Mountainside, presenting a check to a hospital representative on May 30th. Members of the Edison Student Government held various fundraisers throughout the school year, including bake sales, candy sales, Edison Night at Yestercades, and a Show the Love fundraiser at which students sold paper hearts for $1 each during lunch periods. During her visit, the hospital representative commended the students for raising the largest amount of money among those middle school, high school, and college organizations who donated this year. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Mike?
Yes, I have an announcement. 52 Westfield High School students were recently inducted into the National Honor Society for French, Spanish, Italian, and Chinese, with 19 excelling in French, 14 in Spanish, 14 in Italian, and 5 in Chinese. Congratulations to all the inductees for this prestigious honor and to the entire World Languages team.
Thank you. Brendan?
Yes. 18 retiring staff members were honored by the Board of Education and by colleagues and guests at the 32nd Annual End of the Year Gala for school employees on May 30th. The event also paid tribute to 11 district staff members with 25 years of service. We wish our retirees well and thank our employees for their dedication to continuing Westfield's tradition of excellence.
Thank you. Brian?
2 middle school members of the Westfield debate team took the title in the public forum debate on May 17th, becoming first ever New Jersey champions in this particular intermediate level of debate. Congratulations to Edison 8th grader Matthew Chen and Edison 7th grader Tej Mehta on this spectacular accomplishment. The Westfield debate team is a partnership of the Westfield Public School District, the Westfield Parent Teacher Council Gifted Education Committee, and the Westfield Area YMCA.
Thank you. Ken?
Congratulations to the following Westfield High School students who earned the top score of 800 on portions of the May SAT. John Zarnecki, grade 11, Math Level 2. Spencer Feinstein, grade 11, U.S. History and Math Level 2. Grace Hutchinson, grade 11, Math Level 2. And Maxwell Scialaba, grade 10, Math. Congratulations.
Thank you, Ken. Gretchen?
Yes, out of 108 entries submitted last year and presented this May at the New Jersey Bar Foundation Law Fair, Westfield third graders recently received an honorable mention for their mock court case, The Case of the Conspiracy Theory. For the past 28 years, the New Jersey State Bar Foundation has run the mock trial competition for students in grades 3 through 12. The Westfield team, who are now fourth graders, placed in the third grade category due to their age at the time they wrote the case. Congratulations to all of our mock trial litigators and to their advisor and gifted education teacher, Esther Van Riper.
Thank you. Amy?
Yep, I have one. The Union County Prosecutor's Office will host a community meeting on juvenile justice this Thursday, June 13th, from 6 to 8 p.m. in the Westfield High School Auditorium at 550 Dorian Road. Dr. Dolan will join Interim Executive Union County Schools Superintendent Daryl Palmieri and Acting Union County Prosecutor Jennifer Davenport in welcoming panelists and audience members. Mr. Palmieri and Westfield High School Resource Officer Elizabeth Savnik will be among a group of law enforcement, community, and county officials to hold a panel discussion on juvenile justice.
Thank you. Dr. Dolan, do you have any announcements?
I do not.
The next meeting of the Westfield Board of Education will be held next Tuesday, June 18th at 7:30 p.m. in the Westfield High School Auditorium at 550 Dorian Road, so it's a change of location. Please note this change of location. We will recognize a large number of students for academic, athletic, and performing arts achievements. A complete agenda of the meeting will be available on Friday, June 14th under the board section of the district website and in the business office. At this time, I'd like to recognize the public for agenda items only. Agenda items only. Seeing nobody come forth to the podium, I'd like to turn the meeting over to Dr. Dolan for her superintendent's report.
Thank you. So each year, the state of New Jersey requires that I present a report that's called the Student Safety Data System Report. And the reason for this is whenever one of our students, and remember we have 6,300 students, whenever one of our students misbehaves in certain ways, the state requires us to actually report that to the state. And we have to keep good records of it, and we have to submit that every year to the state. Excuse me, and then twice a year, I'm required to present this at a public meeting. So the Student Safety Data System is a system for reporting instances of violence or vandalism, harassment, intimidation, or bullying, also investigations, trainings, and programs. And again, I'm required to do 2 reports each year. This report is based on what happened in all 10 of our schools from September 1 to December 31st. And this is the way the state asks us to report all of this information. So the first column, you'll see that all the schools are listed, from Franklin all the way up to the high school. And the first column after that talks about incidents, and you'll see a little asterisk. And if you look down at the bottom, that means that these are any instances where there was violence involved, or vandalism, or substance abuse, or weapons, or if somebody was found to have done a harassment, intimidation, or bullying incident. So all of those from September 1 to December 31st are listed there by school. Now, in the second column, we have other incidents that lead to somebody being suspended. Now, this could be, it's not considered violence or vandalism, but for example, if somebody is cursing, if somebody is being disrespectful for a teacher, those are some of the instances where the student is suspended and they have to be reported there. There are other times where some people allege that there is a harassment, intimidation, or bullying incident, and it's always investigated, but sometimes we find it might not be one of those incidents. It may be an incident where it's conflict as opposed to harassment, intimidation, and bullying, but all those are recorded as well. And then we get to 2 columns where it talks about what do we do in our schools to try to make sure that our students understand what we do expect and the right way to behave in our schools. And that includes trainings and programs, and I'm going to explain those in a few minutes using some pictures. I also just included the reporting from the previous year, from September 1, 2017 to December 31st, 2017. There are always variations, but honestly they're not all that much. We always monitor these to see if there are patterns emerging and if there's anything we need to change, if we need to focus on particular schools to try to improve issues regarding that. Now I'd like to just explain a little bit about the ways we try to work with our students. And if you look at the first slide that has pictures, you can see some kindergartners there at Lincoln School. And the reason they're there is to remind us we start this as soon as the students enter our schools. We try to reinforce the proper way to treat each other, the proper way to treat our school and our community. And then that continues, and that work is done by all of our teachers. It's done, as we heard earlier in some of the recognition, it's done by our nurses, it's done by our counselors. It's everyone trying to make sure they're being a good role model and trying to instill the appropriate ways to behave with all of our students. So we make sure that students understand what harassment, intimidation, or bullying is, and we also work to make sure all of our teachers and staff members understand that as well. We have a number of programs for our Week of Respect, and we also work on character education. Our counselors are vital in this field. They have a great deal of specific training in this area, so they come in and they work with our students at various age levels, sometimes by class and sometimes in a larger assembly. Also, some of the assemblies we bring them in to reinforce all of the work that we've been doing, whether that's spreading kindness, being mindful of emotions and feelings, or how you can use communication to express yourself as opposed to showing anger. How can you communicate however it is that you feel? We also have done a lot of work on professional development. You heard a number of our speakers tonight talk about how we've worked on social and emotional learning, and that's something we continue to work on. We have programs such as Stomp Out Bullying, we have Mix It Up Day. We present Upstander Awards for those who stand up to bullies. And at the high school, you can imagine at every level it's a little bit different. What we do with our youngest students is nothing like what we're doing with our high school students. At the high school, we have a transition program for all the 9th graders as they enter our high school, and our upperclassmen volunteer and then are selected to be part of that transition program. And the high school also provides a forum, the Agora Forum, where students and community members and staff can discuss local and global issues, especially when there are issues that we're all grappling with. So in very many different ways, we really try to work to help support our students in their development. Important people in this work include our anti-bullying specialists. Now, the coordinator for anti-bullying for the district is Joseph Malanga, who is the principal of Wilson School. But every school has at least one anti-bullying specialist, And it is important that if any student or any parent is concerned and worried that there is harassment, intimidation, or bullying going on, that these are key people you can go to report that. You can report it to any adult in the school, but these are the people who have specific training. And we always have that information on our website, so if an incident does happen, people know who to turn to. So we continue our work in this. It's not as though you teach it 1 year and it's fixed. You keep on working at it, and you keep on trying to help students understand the appropriate ways to behave both as students, but in their whole life going forward.
Great, thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Dr. Dolan? No? Thank you, Dr. Dolan. I'd like the board to consider our reorganization resolutions. Do I have a second?
Second.
Kent? Any questions or comments? No? Dana?
Mike Phelan?
Yes.
Kent Diamond?
Yes.
Brendan Galligan?
Yes.
Robert Garrison?
Yes.
Brian Morrissey?
Yes.
Gretchen Oleg?
Yes.
Peggy Oster?
Yes.
Amy Root?
Yes.
Tara Porto?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'd like the board to approve the minutes of our board meeting held on May 21st, 2019, and the private minutes of May 21st, 2019. Do I have a second?
Second.
Kent? All in any questions, comments?
I abstain. I wasn't here.
I abstain as well.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any others? We already had abstentions. Any disagreements? Okay, thank you. Amy, personnel.
Yes, I would like the board to consider items 1 through 36. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Kent. Just before we vote, there was one minor change, well, not minor, but a small change I should make you aware of, which is on item number 1. The first resignation that's listed there, the resignation date is not August 9th, it is actually June 28th, 2019. So, coming up a little faster on that one. Are there any other questions, comments? No? Okay.
Mike Phelan?
Yes.
Kent Diamond?
Yes, except I abstain from 21.
Brendan Galligan?
Yes.
Robert Garrison?
Yes.
Brian Morrissey?
Yes.
Gretchen Oleg?
Yes, I abstain from item 32.
Tara Porto?
Yes.
Peggy Oster?
Yes.
Amy Root?
Yes.
Great. Facilities, Gretchen, do you have any report?
No report. I don't know, Dana, if you want to give us a quick update on the projects that are going on in the district.
Sure. So the field is moving along. We are, I believe, Monday, field turf will be starting to install the turf. So we're in good shape with that. The emergency generators, we are in all of the schools working, so we're moving along with that. We hope to be finished with that project by the start of the school year. We have not started doors yet, but that's because we're waiting till the end of the school year. So that's door replacements in the both middle schools and the high school. They're scheduled to start the day after school ends. Same with the lobbies renovations at the 2 middle schools and the bathrooms that we're doing at the middle schools and the high school. All of that will start the 25th actually, the day after the teachers end. Those are the big projects, and then we have a whole bunch of small projects going on. So we will have contractors all over the district come Tuesday the 25th.
Right, so as the rest of us are like ramping down for the summer, you guys are ramping up. So thank you for it. The field looks like there's tons of progress being made.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm
it's gonna
excited
be
to see the
beautiful.
final product.
Yep.
Great. Thank you, Gretchen. Amy, long-range planning.
No report at this moment, but I'm hoping by our next board meeting next week, we'll have a little bit more to discuss. We're having a workshop later this evening to bring all the board members up to speed on some facts, what we know about full-day kindergarten. So we'll hope to have a little bit more to say next week.
Great, thank you. Policies, Brendan.
Yes, I ask the board to approve policy item number 1. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Ken. It's to approve for first reading policy 7434, smoking on school grounds, 7435, alcoholic beverages on school premises, 8500, food services, 8630, bus driver and bus aid responsibilities, and 8830, flag display. These are all policies that came up through our normal 5-year review cycle, and they're all mandated policies. Any of the changes were, these were all policies we already had. The changes were to either reflect current realities, add electronic smoking devices to our smoking policy, or just change the overall intent of the board with around this smoking on school property. It was a long, sort of rambling first paragraph, and we just truncated it with, in accordance with law, the board prohibits smoking anywhere on school grounds. Can't get much clearer than that. Any questions? Dana?
Mike Phelan?
Yes.
Ken Diamond?
Yes.
Brendan Galligan?
Yes.
Robert Garrison?
Yes.
Brian Morrissey?
Yes.
Gretchen Oleg?
Yes.
Tara Porto?
Yes.
Peggy Astor?
Yes.
Amy Root?
Yes.
All right. That is it for policies for the year.
Okay, great. It's not, doesn't mean I won't ask you next week.
I think we have a hip later, so you will.
Curriculum, Amy.
Yes, I would like the board to consider items 1 through 3. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Rob. Okay. I circulated some notes from our May 23rd meeting that addressed these particular curriculum items. I apologize for the late circulation, but it was a really good discussion with our English and language arts supervisor about the high school English, various levels of the English program at the high school is item number 2. And then we also had our math supervisor discussing 3 of our sort of math elective classes, 2 of which are single semesters at the high school, and 1 is a full year class, the math of personal finance. Item number 1 lists district field trips and overnight field trips, largely band camp and the yearbook camp that happens in the summer. And item number 3 just continues with a few additional student, teacher, and intern candidates for the remainder of this year and for next year, which is practice we've started doing the last few meetings. So, any questions? Okay.
Mike Phelan?
Yes.
Ken Diamond?
Yes.
Brendan Galligan?
Yes.
Robert Garrison?
Yes.
Brian Morrissey?
Yes.
Gretchen Oleg?
Yes.
Tara Porto?
Yes.
Peggy Astor?
Yes.
Amy Root?
Yes.
Great. I'd like the board to consider items 1 through 27 in finance. Do I have a second?
Second.
Brendan? I'd like to call out item number 25. We are accepting a gift of $3,280 from the Jefferson School PTO to construct a pergola in the new outdoor classroom garden off Lansdowne Avenue, if I said that correctly. Does anybody have any questions? No? Dana?
Mike Phelan?
Yes.
Ken Diamond?
Yes.
Brendan Galligan?
Yes.
Robert Garrison?
Yes.
Brian Morrissey?
Yes.
Gretchen Oleg?
Yes.
Tara Porto?
Yes.
Peggy Astor?
Yes.
Amy Root?
Yes.
Technology, Michael, do you have anything?
Yes, I actually do. This last Friday, we had our technology meeting, and one of the areas we went over was the technology-related projects that we're going to be doing during this coming summer. And just to give you, I'm not going to highlight all of them, but just some of them so you can see what's actually going on. WAF technology for our door upgrade project. A lot of these projects tie into larger initiatives that have been passed by the board over the past year. We're going to have 345 Chromebooks on 11 carts spread throughout a variety of different schools. There'll be 18 interactive projectors installed, the digital electricity initiative, the Keller Stadium technology upgrade, TV studio upgrade, WebEx for the staff members. Overall, there's 22 projects that are going to be done throughout this summer. So I think in a variety of different ways, the children are going to benefit from the technology and the TV and the Keller. So it should be a very exciting fall once all of these projects have been implemented. We also, Paul Pinero, the assistant superintendent, just gave some highlights of his trip to China recently as far as a joint initiative with Kane University and some other local area schools went, and just to see how they're teaching and how their programs are working and what could we apply there, and likewise they're looking at what they could apply in China. So just getting the ball rolling on that. So that was exciting. And we continue to review the social media policy. We're going to get our updates to the policy committee so that we have some updates implemented this coming fall. That's it for the technology for this year. We'll meet again in September.
Great. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
I'd like the board to consider the notes for the record. Any questions or comments?
Comment on that? Notes for the record is really where half of the policies committee work actually ultimately winds up. We review every policy on a 5-year cycle, and if there's no substantial changes, we just note it, we put a new date at the bottom that we reviewed it, and it goes out to the notes for the record. This year, we were lucky that after our code of conduct review, we found that what we were doing was pretty much what we wanted to be doing. So while it's something we have to review every year, I didn't want it to slip through that it just got pushed through the notes for the record. Because we didn't need to make real big changes to it this year.
Great, thank you. Do we have, we have some unfinished business, and I'm gonna turn it back over to you, Brendan.
At our last board meeting, I introduced a resolution. I did some research and found an award that Dr. Nelson may be eligible for through the Department of Defense called the Soldier's Medal. So I put together a resolution, I put together the application paperwork for this award, and I'd like the board to vote to authorize me to submit that application on the board's behalf. It's a political, highly prestigious medal that the Secretary of Defense or the Secretary of the Army has to decide on. So the more people that we can put together behind an application, I think the better chance we stand. Any questions on that?
So are you moving that, Brendan?
Yes.
Second?
I second.
Thank you, Kent.
Thank you for doing the
this
research
is
and the
great.
legwork to put it together. The resolution is very well written, and I think, and it honors Dr. Nelson well, so.
So
thanks for doing
if the board approves this tomorrow, I'll sit down with Barbara. I need to get some final details like his social security number and that kind of stuff that I didn't want to have ahead of time. And we'll submit the paperwork officially.
That's cool.
You want to do a roll call?
Yes, please.
Mike Beelan?
Yes.
Ken Diamond?
Yes.
Brenda Gallion?
Yes.
Robert Garrison?
Yes.
Brian Morrissey?
Yes.
Gretchen Oleg?
Yes.
Tara Porto?
Yes.
Peggy Astor?
Yes,
Amy Root?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
and I thank you, Brendan, for finding it and doing all the work and bringing it forward to our attention.
Yeah.
And I look forward to hearing a very positive update, hopefully in the fall.
I look forward to another presentation at our fall.
Agreed.
That would be great.
Agreed. Do we have any new business? Any liaison reports?
I met with the Democracy PTO last week. It was pretty good. The one question they had, and I think it was an open-ended question, I don't think they were looking for an answer, is they wondered aloud, we have parent-teacher conferences in the beginning of the school year, would it make sense to have them at the end of the school year? So, it was an open-ended question, I didn't have an answer for. So, I'm just raising it to everyone's attention that they raised it.
Okay, great. I also attended maybe you can help me out, Union County Ed Services year-end meeting. And each of their Union County Ed Services is made up of, I don't know the exact number of schools, but each of the schools came and presented their PLCs and discussed their goals and where they were going to and how successful they were with their goals. So it was nice to see the teachers and so forth that represent these schools. And then they had their regular education meeting. So it's something that's offered here in Union County, and they feel more and more communities are taking advantage of it, and that it's a successful program. So it was very enlightening. Okay. At this time, I'd like to recognize the public for questions or comments. Seeing nobody come to the podium, we are going to move upstairs to the second floor conference room where we will be having a workshop to discuss some of our findings on full-day kindergarten and bringing all board members up to speed as to where we are and to discuss where we would like to go with this. So you're welcome to join us or not. So thank you. So give us about 5 minutes or so.